my friends, it's Deanna of the Blushing Mint. Welcome back to another episode of Christmas in July. I am absolutely loving this series, and I hope that you guys are finding a lot of inspiration as you think about what your holiday gifting is going to be looking like. I hope that the videos and the content that I've created is inspiring you to some new ideas that you can try this year. I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by, for all your great comments, for liking my videos, especially for subscribing. I am absolutely touched and blown away by your kindness and how my channel has grown through this Christmas in July series. So thank you so very much. You just have no idea. So today is July 27th, for those of you who are keeping track. July 27th today, and I have a super cute folio to bring to you today, and this is actually an inspiration that I saw on a recent video I was watching on YouTube. I haven't had a lot of time to really get out there and watch too much, but I was watching late one evening, and I ran across the channel Lene Creates, and she had this folio. So let me show it to you. It is so cute. I just love it. So she had, I believe, a button closure on hers. I did the little policy envelope closure. And so it just, and I have a little pine cone charm on my little closure. And then it just opens up, and you have a big long pocket here and a big long pocket here. And now you could cut these down to whatever size you wanted. So I have left mine the same size as the file folder, which is 11.5. And I actually kind of like this size. I don't know why, but if you were gifting, you could certainly cut your file folder down to whatever width you would like to work with for this project. But I was thinking of this as, like, say you want to give some holiday recipes. I know my mom has some of the best Christmas baking recipes. Family and friends and whatnot are constantly asking my mom for her almond roca recipe and her bonbon recipe and several other recipes that we have as a family. And I'm thinking, what a great way to gift those special recipes. Recipe cards will perfectly fit in these pockets here. So you could add 2, 1, 2, 4, however many recipes you'd like. And this would just be an absolutely awesome little recipe, treasurable recipe book for the holidays for gifting. Again, what about, you know, like brag books for grandparents? You could toss your kids' photos in here, little letters in the pockets. I think there's a lot of great ways that we could use this, and I just found this tutorial to be easy to follow. It's something I haven't thought about on my own, and so I'm going to show you how Lene created this little folio, and I thought it bared repeating for all of you, because it's just a great little easy to follow, easy to make folio. So here we go. I even was prepared for you guys today, and I made the instructions. So I'm going to lay them out here for you so you can screenshot if you so desire. I'll leave that for just a second, and you can go ahead and screenshot the instructions here. And then I am going to follow these step by step for you to show you how easy this is to create. Except that I have already cut my papers and inked my edges and rounded my corners just to save some time, but I'll show you that as we go along. So there's your instructions. And as it says, the first thing we need is we need a file folder and we need to cut it at 7 1/2 inches from our folded edge. So I'm grabbing my little cutter here. And I want my folded edge here to be on 7 1/2. And now you can save these for another project or you can throw them away. I saved mine because I used one of these as the bases for my policy closure. So I used 2 layers of manila file folder and a layer of pattern paper to make my little closure here. So of course I'm setting mine aside. Okay, next, it's kind of stiff because it's a brand new cutter. Next we need to get our scoreboard in front of me, and we are going to score at 2 3/4 inches from both edges of our opened folder. So I'm going to open my folder and I'm going to lay it into my scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 2 3/4 inches. And I like to score both sides of the paper or whatever that I'm scoring. I like to score both sides. That way my paper doesn't crack, and I just get a good fold line in there. So 2 3/4. So this was the first side I scored. Then I turned it around, line it up with the edge here, and score again at 2 3/4. Like so. Okay, then I'm going to set that aside. Now I need to round my corners. So just the 4 corners. Okay. Then you fold that up and use your foam folder to get those nice, good flat creases there. All right, here is the bones of your folio, just like so. Now, I have gone ahead, in the interest of time here, I have gone ahead and I have cut all of my, I have inked all my edges and all my fold lines, and I have then got ahead and cut my papers for the matte panels. And so for this project, you need 3, and I know I only put 2 here first, but I forgot about the back. So you need 3 panels that are 2 5/8 by 11 1/2. You need 3 that are 4 5/8 by 11 1/2, and 1 that is 3 by 11 1/2. So 3, 2 5/8 by 11, 3, 4 5/8 by 11 1/2. Oh, that was by 11 1/2. And 1 at 3 by 11 1/2. So I've cut those, and of course my dog wants to go out, so I must let my dog out. Sorry about that. Gotta love it. Something was coming down the road or something. Who knows with him? All right. So, and then I've gone ahead and I have just placed my mats where I want them to be. So the next one is, number 5, is to mat your front flap and your bottom back flap. This is important, friends. This is the important piece of this. Mat your front flap and your bottom back flap. So This is my front flap, okay? So this is my mat piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mat this piece first. And the reason why it's important to do it in this order is because in order to cover the mechanics of your closure, we need to have these pieces matted first, and then we'll mat over and cover any mechanics afterwards. So I'm just going to lay this in here, and there should be about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around my edges here. When I'm matting, I don't usually use my art glitter glue just because I like to have a little extra room to move that around. So then the bottom back, so this is my bottom, this is the bottom back. So this is the piece I need to mat next. Okay. And the reason being is because closure is going to go here, closure is going to go here. You could close this with a Velcro dot if you did not want to go with the policy style closure or sew on buttons or something like that. You could easily do this with a Velcro dot. I just like the security and I like the look of the policy style closure. And then I always like to have a charm or something hanging off. It's just me. This is completely your choice at this point. So we're going to mat this. All right. And again, we should have about 1/8 of an inch-ish on each side here. Okay, now what is important, set a couple of those mats aside. Now we need to determine where our closure is going to go. And so we want to find the center of our panel. So if our file folder is 11.5-ish, give or take, 5 3/4 should be our center. So I need to find a little pencil here. And how far up do I want this to be? I don't want this to be super far up. So I'm going to mark my 5 3/4 here. And then I'm dropping down. And I'm going to mark my 5 3/4 mark below. About there. So then I know where to cut or where to punch or where to sew or however I'm going to do this. So what I am going to do for this closure, I didn't think that far in advance, friends, because, you know, why would I do that? Let's see. I have light green in there. What do I have? I'm looking in my scrap bin here beside me because, of course, I didn't, you know, I was so organized that I forgot about the closure. So I'm scooting through here to see if I have something that might work. Do, 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 do. I need my little punch here. And so let's see. I don't hate that. And then if I can find another one that's close enough to my corner here. I don't hate them. I think they'll be cute. Okay, so I need 2 of those. And then, like I said, I saved my edging, and then I need 4 because I do double layers of the file folder to 1 sheet of patterned paper. Okay. And then I just mat all these together. Bear with me, I should have maybe had this done for you, but you know, it wouldn't be a video if I didn't forget something, lose my mind, make a hot mess out of it, you know, all those things. It's all good, friends. It's all good. It all works out in the end, somehow, some way. Okay. Get these all together. Give them a second to meld together. As I just got glue all over myself from using my thing. That was just so smart, wasn't it? And then just ink up these edges real quick. Okay, so there are our 2 closures. Now I'm going to grab my little pen and mark my centers. And I need my crocodile. I'm going to use they're not brads, they are like little grommets. Okay, then on my front closure, I'm going to punch my center hole. Now, my struggle with my bottom closure is that I don't have a long reach crocodile, so I have to go old-fashioned here, and I just have to use my awl punch, and I just find make sure that's exactly where I want it. Yep, find my little hole here. And I'm just going to put my awl through there. And I've removed all the papers from the inside so that I'm not going through any papers that are unnecessary. And I found through trial and error on the first time that that is not wide enough to fit my little mechanism in there. So I have to make it a little bit bigger with my scoring tool. Then I'm going to get my little grommets, and I'm going to get 2 gold ones because I do have gold on here. And I feed my eyelets. I think that's what these are actually called. These little ones are called eyelets. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And so anyway, then I put that through my paper here. And the top one, again, I can use my crocodile with, which is fantastic. The bottom one, I get to do old school grommet making. Let me show you. Have to dig in my drawer here because I forgot to get it out. So this is an old toolkit from Stampin' Up! That I have had for ages and ages. I mean, decades now. And anywho, so I get my eyelet setting punch and my little hammer, and I've got my tool here, or my button closure. So I feed my eyelet through my button. Then I have to feed that through my little hole, turn it upside down, place my little pounder mat underneath here because I don't want to damage my work surface. And then I set my eyelet setting tool. Bang. Sorry for the noise, friends. Hammer twice. Set. So there is our closure. Now I can get this out of my way, put this back in my drawer because it is a handy little set. Whoops, forgot my little map. That's okay. Put that back in my drawer. And now we can finish matting our project. Okay, so set that aside, get that out of my way. I'm like, I lost a mat, friends. It happens. Okay. And I already inked up all of my mats as well. So now this one is going to go there. So now we just literally glue and mat. That is the hardest part of that of our project is over. And how hard was that? Not too tough, I don't think. Probably took longer than it needed to, but you know, this is me. Okay, that one's done. This pocket here next. Okay, so yeah, comment below, friends, and tell me how you could see yourself gifting or using this project in your Christmas gifting ideas. I literally love the idea of this as a sharing recipes. I think it's so cute. You can have it right with all your Christmas supplies. So then when you get your Christmas goodies. Oh, I have no idea what happened here, friends. Okay, we're just going to pretend like this just didn't happen, but yeah, I have no idea what I did when I punched my little hole punch here. Whew, I made a mess, so I'm just going to fix that. I'm just going to correct this right now, because that is a hot mess to look at, and my little OCD-ness would go into overdrive on that. So I have no idea what I was doing. I still don't like it, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. Don't know what I was doing, friends, when I got carried away with that. Okay, and then, so because this is a pocket, this is where your 3 by 11.5 mat comes in, okay? So this is the only one that really probably didn't make sense. So this is a 3 by 11.5 mat, and that is because there's no reason to mat all the way back to the bottom of this pocket here. There's no reason for that. So that's where this one comes in. So this is where your 3 by 11.5 goes. I guess that is important to know in the scope of the project here. Okay. Oh, that made a mess. Man, I'm telling you, a hot mess, friends. Hot mess. Where would we be? Not for a hot mess. Every video has to be a hot mess video somewhere. Okay. Then, so that is that. Now we're going to mat this one. Okay. So we have 2 3/4, or 2 5/8, 2 5/8, 2 5/8, 4 5/8, 4 5/8. This is our third 4 5/8 sheet of cardstock, or of paper, that we have used. Just wanted to make sure how I wanted that to lay in there. Do I want it to lay this way? Yes. And then, so this is 1 file folder and 2 sheets of single-sided paper to create this album. That's it. 1 file folder. Oh no, 3 sheets. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like 2 sheets. Holy cow. 1 file folder, 3 sheets of single-sided printed paper to create this folio. I love projects like this, and this project is great. I am a journal maker primarily. I've been doing paper crafts forever, but these, when paper pads have the like frames and whatnot in them, they're very hard to use in journals because they're usually not dimensions that work in a journal. So those sheets tend to get tossed over by me when I'm creating journals. So having this folio worked great because I'm able to use those edge pages and things like that that I normally would not use. They would get thrown away or something in my stash. So this is, for this pocket here, this is literally just a leftover sheet of, or a leftover piece of the paper that I have been using, and I just cut it to 3 inches by the 11.5. So it's just another sheet, another piece of the paper, just cut to however you so desire. So I guess rightfully I could say you could cut 2 of the 3 by 11.5 at the time that you're cutting all your mats. But Okay. Now I just need to glue this pocket because, so we created and installed our closure pieces, we matted our remaining panels, now we're gluing our pockets in place. So we just glued that one. All we do here is just glue the sides of this one here. Like so. This one needs to be held a little bit longer just because it is that I didn't use art glitter glue, and so the file folder requires just a little extra added oomph to stick there. So there is our basic folio. Now we need to do a little closure here. So I'm just going to grab my black waxed string and I'm going to wrap it around the top one. And I'm going to maybe tuck that underneath there and tie a little knot so that it doesn't come undone. Tie that tight and then trim my little edge there close, and then I just wrap that around in a figure 8 style. You have to kind of play with these because they're a little stiff when you first put them in there. So wrap that around as a figure 8, leave a little bit of an overhang, cut that off, and then I'm going to grab another charm here. Do I want a Christmas tree? I think I'll just go ahead and use another one of the pine cones. Oh, yes, because there's pine cones on the pattern paper, so that makes sense here. If I could get one out of there. Maybe. Okay. And then I just tie this. Maybe, guys, my hands are not very steady today. And I don't want it to dangle too far. So then just tie that in a little knot. Maybe. I'm telling you, my right hand is just, it just does not want to work for fine details right now. Super excited for this little project here. All right, and then you just trim off your excess there, and there are our little file folder folios a la Lene Creates. And I am going to post, if I can remember, to link Linnea video below. It's just an easy tutorial, and you can check her version out as well. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this little project, and that maybe this is one that you will give a try to. And remember, again, you can cut this down to whatever width you want. You just have to cut your file folder appropriately. And so as a reminder, I just want to remind you that I will be doing a giveaway at the end of our Christmas in July of some of the projects that I have created during this series. And so in order to enter, or in order to be eligible to win the giveaway, you need to like this video. You need to comment below what your favorite project is so far in this series. So you can comment whatever project so far has been your favorite in the series, and then you need to be a subscriber to my channel. So like the video, comment your favorite project, be a subscriber to the channel. That is how you are entered to win. You can enter every day from July 24th through July 31st. So that gives you 8 chances to be entered to win. The same things apply on every video. Like, subscribe, comment your favorite project. And then I will do the drawing on or around August 8th and contact the winner at that point. So I hope that you guys are finding inspiration. I hope you love this little folio. Don't forget to tell me how you can see yourself using this folio this gifting season. So friends, until the next time that we get together, I just so appreciate your company. I hope you are enjoying the series, and I look forward to visiting with you guys in the next video, friends. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye.